I think the change that are made here makes this one of the finest facilities undoubtedly in the state of Ohio, if not in the United States, and could be well used as an example of what can be done if they try.
Santa Claus, just everyone just touching it, just the warmth and real love, just it was overwhelming. It was really neat. And we responded. We were looking for a worthwhile Christmas project to add to our other Christmas projects at the high school. And we heard about this, and I had done similar things like this in Cincinnati when I was in high school. And so I knew the worth, how good it was for me as a student. So I pushed for everyone to accept this and to get out here. And we lucked out that there was a vacancy on a couple of houses, so we were able to sponsor 3 different houses.
What's your name? What's your name? I'm Tori. No, that's my name. You like this nail polish? Yeah. I think it's a pretty color. Yeah. Now, don't mess.
I've never been approached before, and it scared me at first because you hear stories of people attacking you and everything, until I realized that they were just so happy, and it just takes the least thing to make them happy. It meant so much for us just to come here and to sing with them, you know, and to be a part of them. And like, they don't seem like people stereotype them to be. They make them seem insane. You know, they can't communicate or anything, but it was just totally the opposite.
You know, I chose Santa to bring this baby reindeer up so I can hold it.
Oh, you think he'll bring it?
No, I'm going to hold it.
You very quickly discover that the residents here at Apple Creek are great people. It is a learning experience to be with them. Somehow it brings you as a person out a little bit more. Sometimes we get a little bit complacent or a little bit too busy or a little bit too hassled by the everyday things that happen in your life, and coming out here gives you a little bit of a time to think and reflect and also feel like you're helping out in a way that even if it's just a little bit, maybe it's something that is valuable, and I wish other people had the opportunity to do it.
Here, let's try this. Why don't you try a bite here and see how it is? Huh? Come on, why don't you try a bite and see how it goes? You want to try it? Oh, come on now. I can't eat it. I'm big enough. I don't eat any cookie. This is your Christmas.
Like it in the sky again. Like in the saddle again.
How about if you got the money? You know that one?
Yeah. You got the money and you got the time. I got the money. You got the time. I got the money. You got the time.
All right.
My name is Betty Collins. I'm with J.C. Wives and J.C. Men of Worcester. I enjoy this type of work, and I enjoy this type of volunteers. So some people's would be scared, other people wouldn't be. Mine wasn't. Mine was a good feeling. I don't know. That's just me, though. I enjoy that type of thing. Where's that smile? Where's that smile? I almost cried over there tonight. It's hard for me to understand why people stand against the wall and watch.
It's a lot easier to do something for an individual who's mentally retarded than it is to work with them and to try to train them to learn new things and to do things for themselves. And so we have, I think, worked very hard at trying to promote the whole notion that mentally retarded individuals should be viewed as developing persons.
You're cheering on this week?
as we've been successful in individual situations, I think you then begin to actually see changes in attitudes on the part of staff members and parents as they become aware that a lot of this behavior can be changed.
It's a very difficult task to take an old institutional setting and transform it into a quality developmental center program. I believe, from my perspective, that it's a lot of hard work by a lot of people. And that may sound trite, it may sound trivial, but that's really what it takes. You need constant support by all levels of staff at the developmental center. You need a great deal of community support. You need support certainly by parents, guardians, advocates, individuals who are directly involved in the lives of the residents.
Let's go. Thank you.
Grandparent program started here at Apple Creek in 1969, although it started nationally in 1965, and the focus was a dual one. It was designed to serve both the elderly and the disadvantaged or disabled or mentally retarded youth. It gives the older person a meaningful way to serve their community and provides the child with a stable presence in their life, sometimes something that they don't have otherwise, especially in a developmental center such as this. They get one-to-one attention every day from one person. They have the friendship and love of that person, and in turn they give that love back to the grandparent. The grandparent reaps benefits, both direct benefits in the form of a stipend, an hourly stipend, and also in the friendship that they share with the child.
Oh, you want some more?
Let's talk a little bit about Mark Least and his foster grandmother. In watching the two of them, it seems like they just have a fantastic time together.
It's a really special relationship, and Ethel Otto is a very special foster grandparent. She's excellent with all of her assigned residents, and she has a special fondness for Mark, I think. She's just uses every skill that she has available to help him develop some other abilities. Mark is blind, and Ethel will take him out for walks, pick leaves and flowers and have him touch them, rub them on his cheek, tell him about them, tell him about the colors. She takes a radio and plays music for him and gets him to move with the music and just keeps up a constant chatter with him so that he knows her voice and he knows how much she cares about him.
When I became a teacher in 1976, the school program had begun at Apple Creek. There had previously been a school program for the highest functioning individuals who had IQs in the neighborhood of 50. The developmental center was required by the consent judgment to expand their educational activities and offer educational programming, training programs in a day program setting to individuals who were all of school age. We began working by teaching the individuals to stay in the room. They had never had a structured environment whereby they needed to stay in any particular location for any duration of time. So we worked on having them learn that they needed to stay in the room in order to get something accomplished. Then we proceeded to learning to stay in a general area of the room, eventually to stay in a seat so that we could do table activities. It was very time-consuming initially to do that with the individuals.
I don't know. First of all, work with a lower function, I think you have to be compassionate. Anybody that doesn't have a compassion and a love and an understanding and a caring for a child like that, you know, I don't think would make it.
How you doing, huh? How are you? Huh? You clean your face? You clean your face?
with the lower functioning students, you work on sensory stimulation, feeling things that are soft and feeling things that are coarse, and the things I work with, like if one of my students was sitting on the toilet, I used to work with her helping herself to get up off the toilet, and I work with her on walking from one side of the room to the other. The blind kids, I first started out working with them knowing my voice and trusting me and having confidence in me, because when you're blind, it's all on trust and confidence.
We worked on some basic table activities, primarily gross shape discrimination. To give you an example of what I mean by that, little children and infants have balls or other objects that have holes in them cut in triangles and circles and squares. The skill of learning to put the square into the square hole is a shape discrimination task that is a prerequisite to learning how to tell the difference between a printed letter E and a printed letter F, which has a much more subtle discrimination between the two shapes, which of course is a prerequisite to learning many more advanced skills that we all learn as we go along. These individuals did not know how to do that. They did not know the difference between colors. They did not know even many of the basic self-help skills, because they had been basically victims of learned dependence.
11 years ago, the workshop came into being as a project of the Parent Volunteer Association here on the grounds of Apple Creek. They decided that the residents needed some additional skill training to help them in assimilating into the community. So 11 years ago, the Progress Center came into being. In 1981, we moved into this new building that we presently occupy, and this particular wing of the building was dedicated to the Jim Gibbons Work Activity Center. The Progress Center is the work component of that activity center. We hope that when we take an individual into the Progress Center and work on work adjustment programs with them to get them to a point where their behavior is appropriate for county programs, that when residential placement becomes available to them and they go to the community, that they'll fit into the county program quicker, that they'll be able to earn a higher wage from starting out and learning particular skills here, and not start at the bottom of the ladder, as might be the case if they did not have a program like this.
Well, what kind of basic skills are you talking about?
Well, we look closely at time on task. That's a primary problem for a lot of our people, is just being able to stay in their chair and stay at their job and work at a steady pace. We're looking at appropriate interaction with supervisors, to be able to follow verbal instructions or physical instructions, to be able to complete up to 4 steps without having to stop and ask for additional prompting of what needs to be done, or am I doing this right? Looking for just general appropriate work behavior, that they know that they need to stay on their task, they know that they have only a 15-minute break and they need to come back. We're looking for appropriate social contact from the standpoint that it's not appropriate to run up and hug everybody you see, and that it's all right to shake their hands, it's all right to say hi, but that hugging and showing affection beyond what would be expected in a normal work setting may tend to offend other people, and we want to try to avoid that, because it tends to stereotype our people within the community that they live.
Again, we had a school program and a workshop program when I first came here in 1979. We created what we called an adult basic education program, a 4-level training system for adults who were not capable of going from the school program immediately into the workshop. And then we also created a retirement center program for the older residents, where we could work on appropriate skills and activities as they relate to leisure time activities and recreation for them, rather than allow them to remain in a unit during the daytime and essentially do nothing, because some staff felt that they were retired.
Before, I think most of these people were just sitting around all day. They didn't really fit into the workshop, and they didn't fit into the school. They were a lot older than those people in the school, and you know, it just wasn't something that they wanted to do. People have, I'd say, more of their own things now. It used to be that everything was state clothes, you know, state games, state chairs, and now they have their own clothes. If they have money, they can buy things that they like. A lot of our guys have TVs, they have Atari games of their own that they'll bring over here. It used to be you never would have seen anything like that.
We